for this segment. What are your suggestions for a startup and immigration professionals to improve this application success rate?
I think choosing the right fit of a designated entity is a great idea. So getting to know the designated entity and the people running it who you want to work with, making sure that they are transparent and they communicate with you regularly and are very much focused on a successful outcome for their clients. So at Pycap, we like to look at our relationships with immigration professionals and the client. As soon as we bring them into our incubation program, we look at it like we're all on the same team. And what do we want? We want a successful business outcome and a successful immigration outcome. And very much focused on making sure that all the clients within our incubator get their permanent residency.
Okay, perfect. And now we are concluding this segment with a poll question. And the question is, what is your biggest challenge in working with designated organizations? A, finding the right designated organization to support my client. B, understanding designated organization selection criteria for startups. C, high cost associated with securing a designated organization's backing. And D, unclear communication or response delays from designated organization. Let's take a few seconds to read the responses. D, unclear communication or response delays from DOs. C, high costs associated with this. C. A, finding the right DO. C. And C. I think most of the answers are around the C, which is high cost that is associated with securing a DO. And we received a couple of also questions regarding the changes on the designated organization fees, which I will postpone. And after just seeing the result of the poll, I will postpone this question also for the Q&A section. Thank you, everyone, for participating. Now we will go to segment 4, which is future of a startup visa program. Stuart, given the evolving immigration landscape, do you foresee major shifts in the startup visa program over the next 2-3 years?
Well, I think there's definitely the possibility of changes over the next few years. There's obviously been changes as recent as even less than 1 year ago, as we discussed, and there's going to be pressure on the government to make changes, and immigration is always a major issue in new elections that are happening, and we have an election coming up. So that may cause pressure for whoever's going to be in power to push policies forward that are in alignment with their political party. So I definitely think there is the risk of changes. What those changes are going to be is hard to speculate at the moment. Of course, I'm completely biased, but also a huge fan of IRCC and the Startup Visa program, because I, as a university instructor who teaches economics and high level these business schools, it makes so much sense for an economy to be bringing in the best and brightest from all over the world, and then helping them get set up, and then creating these opportunities that it's going to be this cyclical, perpetual kind of opportunity for all Canadians to receive advantages from. It's like the perfect type of people we would want into this country. So I hope that because it makes so much sense to have this startup visa program, that they're going to keep the program in one way, shape, form, or another.
Yeah, I think, and also beside that backlog that you have mentioned, also, I think IRCC nowadays is looking into the effectiveness of the program, finding the holes, and then trying to resolve those one and improving the program. But since we don't have any also other business streams to bring in entrepreneurs, I believe that, they will have one stream, and hopefully that one is a startup visa that will continue. And before we close, I had another question from you. Um, do you recommend for the just people who are looking into a startup visa program and entrepreneurs or immigration consultant, if they have a clients, to apply now or wait a little bit to see with the political situation in Canada what's going to happen and then make a decision that time?
Okay, so I definitely recommend that if they are serious about this program, that they apply as soon as possible. And they definitely should not wait. And even if it's a situation where they're just finessing their documents and glossing up their pitch decks, that sort of thing, I would err on the side of get in as fast as possible, because if there are changes that negatively affect the abilities of the applicants, it's better that they have their documents submitted as early as they can before those changes come to fruition. A great example is the changes that happened in April 29th. So there was this cutoff where if a designated entity did not have the commitment certificate supplied to IRCC by midnight of April 29, then they would be pushed over into the new policy. Whereas if they had their application in prior to that policy change, then they would have been within the older system. And I've heard of many applicants out there that were Mary doing exactly what you're saying. Like they were waiting to see what would happen because it was a transitional period. And as soon as April 29 came and went, they were scrambling and wishing that they had supplied their applications in when they had the chance before the prices increased and before the competitiveness increased as well.
Yeah, 100% agree. And as you have mentioned, we also had a couple of groups that they had the same thing. They were delaying. Some of them they are waiting. We were waiting the whole team, and everything was ready, but we were waiting for the IELTS score or one document from one of the members, and then they put this new regulations and policy in place, which was affecting the whole team. Yeah, I agree with you. And we have a final poll for this segment. And this is the question: where do you see the startup visa program heading in the next 2 years? You can share your thoughts in the chat. A, more regulations and approval criteria. B, faster processing time and better support for a startup. C, increase investor and designated organization involvement in screening applicants. D, more collaboration between consultants, startups, and designated organization. So let's see what are the responses. And by the way, thank you so much for just sharing your question here. We will go to your questions on the Q&A section. D, more collaboration between the ecosystem. A, more regulations and approval criteria. A. Like, yeah, I think with the experience of April 29, everyone now is just, afraid or concerned about if they are putting more regulations and making it harder and harder every day. That's good to see that, like, almost everyone, they voted for the same thing, A. Oh, now we have a couple of D as well. More collaboration between consultant and startup and DOs. Perfect. Thank you so much. So this takes us to the Q&A section. That was an incredible discussion. We have covered everything from regulatory updates to the future of the startup visa program. Now let's dive into your questions. Some of you have already submitted great questions before the webinar, and we will start with those. But if you haven't asked yours yet, now is your chance. Drop your questions in the chat, and we will get to as many as possible. So let me look at the questions. Could you kindly let us know about the pricing? So how much Pycap charge? So I will, we have a couple of questions, as I have mentioned, regarding the pricing, and I will just, merge them into one question that what changes have been happen after April 29 changes on the prices of the getting the LOS, obtaining a LOS. And I'm not asking specifically about a Pycap. I'm asking in general because all our audience and